Now, there's no end in sight to the Putco bus drivers' unprotected strike. That's despite them being issued with a letter of dismissal by the employer. At least 1,000 Putco employees are facing being fired after they embarked on a wildcat strike last week, demanding a 6% wage increase. The strike has left commuters stranded and forced them to make alternative travel arrangements. My colleague, that's our reporter Nqobile Madlala, following that story for us, joining us now live from the ground at the venue of Putco, where the strike action has been playing itself out. What's the latest, Nqobile, you can tell us about this illegal strike?
Well, Pradan, for starters, it's almost 2 hours if you just look at time that is left now in terms of the time that they need to now speak to Putco, because we know that the cut-off time is about 5, it's at 5 o'clock today, meaning that if at 5 o'clock they haven't submitted those dismissal notices and tried to explain why they should not be fired, well, it's not going to be very good. It's not going to work out for them tomorrow. But as you can see there, Pradan, the workers are still just on the ground, still resisting that, and it seems like they're still continuing as per normal. But I want to bring to some of the workers here to speak to us about the looming deadline of 5 o'clock. Baba siyazi ukuthi sekuzosho ukuthi awusenawo umsebenzi. Ingabe omunye abantu asebefakile inotice basho ukuthi why bangafanele baxoshwe?
To answer your question, thank you again, Nqobile, to have me. Yes, I've seen my name in the list that has been there, but I've not given in my notice. Yes, one would have expected now the authorities, especially the government, because we are paying tax. We are actually paying tax, and we are actually taking the commuters to and from the work, which are now in a very receiving end now, which we don't like that. But anyway, because of the situation that we find ourselves, one will have saved any situation or anything that comes forward from the company. They are arrogant, they are racist, is what I can say, because as I've said to you that we are only black drivers here, and then they are only sending the black people as well to control us, and then we ended up having conflict with them. So we don't care anymore. They can proceed with whatever action they decided to take.
But Baba, it's quite difficult to get work nowadays. Are you not scared that this is going to be a difficult process that you're heading to?
Yes, scared or not scared, the date of death, when it has come, we have to die. Whether you are scared or not, it won't help. You will die. So I might be scared, I might be nervous, but that will not help. I'll have to face the situation outside like others who are outside as well.
Well, you've got over an hour just to hand in your notice. Are you going to do it?
Yeah, it doesn't happen. He has expressed it bluntly as it had, that even if you put that notice, he's still going to dismiss you. He'll dismiss like us in benches, in trenches. Like it's going to take 50 until he gets all of us out of this company. So it doesn't help. Even if you can put it, I was on the meeting on Monday with him. He told us that even if you can put it, I'll follow the company procedures, the company disciplinary procedure. But at the end, I'll get rid of all of you at the company. So it doesn't help. Whether you put it or not put it, it's still going to be dismissed.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Do you feel the same, sir, that it doesn't help whether you put your dismissal notice or not?
Anginankinga nokuxoshwa nje, anginankinga nokuxoshwa, but into engikhala ngayo ngibuza ukuthi why umbalula engaphenduli kulento eyenzakala ngoba eoperation nesebenzi. Umbalula why engaphenduli ingoba vele unamabhasi eParko. Umbalula unamabhasi eParko, that's why engafuni uku-attend iParko. Uthatha ibhasi elisha kungena iCovid ngo-2019 when iCovid ngoMarch, umbalula wanikwa ibhasi elisha laphaya ukuthi ayipark yasebenza safety, isifake namakhamera ibhekile ukuthi ipark yenza kanjani, but amakhamera ngene ngo-2010. umbalula that's why ngafuna ukuphendula ngePutco ngoba unamabhasi naye ePutco.
Siyabonga baba. Ake sibuze wena baba ngokwakho uzokwenza njani? Are you going to put in your paperwork before 5 o'clock?
No, I won't. You know, Putco every week is dismissing more than 5 drivers. So Putco is all about the law. They do what they like. You can send those papers to them, you're going to be dismissed. We know that dismissal is like a song to Putco.
So what now? I mean, it's difficult to get a job now, Baba.
You know, to get a job is difficult, but as you know that Putco is part of the government. The government doesn't create a job. So Putco hire and fire. The government knows. So they keep on saying that we have to create a job. Meanwhile, they are not creating a job. As the strike started last Thursday, the government knows what is going on. No official from the government came here to ask what's going on. So you see that government is part of Putco.
Siyabonga kakhulu baba. Wena baba, I mean the time is nearing. We can see it's fast approaching. Are you going to be putting in your notice?
Yes, sister. Me, I got more than 10 years working in Putco. Always Putco. When you talk about money, you talk about that thing. Always we are fighting. We must fight before we get our money. If you didn't give us our full money, you give us half. Now that money is for money for 2020 bonus and 6%. Always you go to the court. When we ask, tell us about the court. When we ask, tell us about the court. Now, as our worker, we are tired. For my side, in my house, I told my wife everything. Now my wife always asks me, Dad, where is the money? I say, company say, you will get the money. The money, they are going to the court. Always how? Dad, where is the money? Court. Now, in the house, we have a clash with my wife. Now,
sorry.
He said, Putco, just give us our money. If you will fire us, fire us. But the money.
Thank you very much. Well, Britan, as you can hear there, those sentiments from some of the Putco drivers, they're just clear that they are not going to be adhering to that 5 o'clock call time that the Putco has called for, saying that they must submit before 5 o'clock. Most of them are just okay with the fact that they are going to lose their jobs. They are understanding that it's very difficult to find work now. But there is also a cry, as you can hear from the workers, that government has not intervened, even going as far as alleging that a minister could potentially be having also buses in the same company. But there is just a cry to say the minister must also respond to these issues. We're seeing the police now speaking to them, Bradan. We do understand that some of the workers are still inside, and there is an understanding that they should let them leave if they are leaving at about 4 o'clock. We can listen to them slightly.
Akugama lakhe angilazi ukuthi uBramu wayamvulela asifuna ahambe la kumele basiphendule bangasiphenduli ngabantu abamnyama njengathi.
All right, Bradan. Well, you can hear there the meeting with the police is continuing. They're basically saying that they do not want to open up for the people that are supposed to be leaving in these facilities. There is the person that they're worried about blocking at this point, Bradan. This is the management in the facility, and they're already trying to block him.
Yeah.
Well, Bredan, those are some of the workers. Do you remember when we were speaking to one of these workers, they were talking about the fact that they want to be heard and they feel that the management has not spoken to them. So they do not want the manager to be leaving here. There is an understanding that so they do not want them to leave. We can see that there is security also that is coming out, as well as the police. But of course the workers are at this point very mad. They want their money, Bredan. You'll remember that they're looking for their bonuses as well as their 6% increase. They're asking that the manager not be let out. That's the same thing that they were telling the police, that they're not going to allow anyone to leave the facilities, that they have let them in, but they don't want them to leave the facilities because they want to be heard and they want to have a conversation, that conversation that they still feel that has not been heard, that they have not been heard throughout the entire time. So they're continuing to block now the gates. Of course, the police is here. What you're seeing in front of you is the public police order, which we understand that they've also been actively on the ground. They're the ones that have pulled away the debris earlier on. But Bredan, you can just imagine the impacts this has also not only on the drivers but on the passengers, the people that have paid. We have spoken to some of the passengers earlier on and they were telling us that they've spent over 800 Rand on their monthly tickets, but now because those monthly tickets are not working, that means they have to add more money in order to ensure that they take taxis. But it's very expensive to leave from Soweto to areas like in the city. Some of them were even telling us that they're spending 100 Rand on just transport alone. But the drivers, as you can see, Bredan, they're now closing and blocking the way. Nobody's going to be leaving these offices, of course, not until maybe we see the police respond to them. But we are seeing the police actively on the scene and just calling through as well.
Yeah, Nqobile, it looks like the standoff will continue. This standoff will continue for some time as those disgruntled Putco drivers outside there are waiting for 4 o'clock to find out whether or not the company will address them and tell them of a decision about back pay and bonuses. In the meantime, we saw that live as they were forcing that vehicle back not to leave the premises, as they told the police to say that they don't want any manager leaving the complex without addressing them first. And now they are throwing stones on that intersection, on that road there in New Canada in Soweto, blocking the road. The police look outnumbered at this stage, but I saw one of the officers on the phone. I wonder if they are calling for some reinforcements to assist to clear the road.
Well, Bredan, a little earlier on, they even had eNCA here. So most of them have left because it seemed like it was very quiet. But of course, until just now, we are seeing now the drivers being active again. So it seems like they are looking for backup. We can see the police officer remaining on the phone the entire time. But the drivers, you can just see that they're getting more violent at this point. They are disgruntled, Bredan. There has been communication issues with regards to what is happening on the ground, and they've been saying throughout that they feel that Putco has not listened to them the entire time, and they're saying that Putco is speaking to them through court and nothing else. So at this point, they do actually want Putco to listen to them.
I see they are burning tires as well, close to the entrance. Close to the entrance of the main gate of Putco, as a way of insisting that nobody should leave without talking to them. Just tell us very briefly, Nqobile, in case a viewer has just joined us, to say what is going to be happening at 4 o'clock. What is this 4 o'clock deadline about?
Well, Bredan, what's been happening is that we understand that the workers that work here basically start as early as 8 o'clock in the morning, and then when they come in, they then leave at 4 o'clock. Those are some of their office hours. So in the 4 o'clock, Bredan, what's happening is that some of the workers that they've let in the morning are now supposed to be leaving. In the morning, you'll remember, Bredan, the drivers were this side, and on the other side of the road were some of the people that had decided that they are going to carry on and continue working because they were not joining the protest. But the drivers made it clear that if they do get these benefits that they're looking for, which we understand, of course, Bredan, is not confirmed, if they do get these benefits, everybody is going to benefit from the work that they have done. And of course, this then becomes a major issue, which is why now they're deciding that the 4 o'clock time for the office hours and the people that are working in the offices is the time where they are going to close. We do remember in the morning there were about over 4 vans that were here, Bredan, as well as eNCA, as well as some of the buses, to ensure that the drivers are not violent. But it doesn't seem like they are going to open here. We can ask some of them, of course, to see what is the idea, because we also know that at 5 o'clock is a cut-off time for these dismissal notices that we heard from Putco, that they are giving them the 24 hours to basically appeal being dismissed by the bus company. Let's try and get in and open some of the workers here. Baba, njengoba senvala manje sekuzokwenzakalani?
Cha sekuyisikhathi sabo sokuthi bashayisa. Ngithi nathi sifike nabo ekseni abasayine basitshele lento esifuna basiphendule. Then so badedela bahamba.
So ufuna basayine ini baba?
Imali yethu lasikolota yona basayine. Uyabona kube kungasubaba Alfred Musa akhatha lento ayikhathile iBread over yama overtime ethu kuba sijampanga ukuthi umlungu sikolota kanje.
Bekwenzakalani ngama overtime?
Wazi yena kakhulu asawathuli manje. Sikhathola ama overtime bathe awusangeni Saturday wena une overtime enough. Hlala ungasasebenzi. But if we may ask you, ithini Minister of Transport kini mangabe na communicate nabantu bendaba uthini ngifuna thini baba ngalesikhathi ukuthi uthini ngenxa amathenda anikeza uFrancisco Pisapia
ubani lo ombizayo baba
ePutco MD ePutco uFrancisco Pisapia uye ke wenze yonke lento le uthini or badla sam banamathenda sam
sibeke straight
badla amathenda sama sazi phela
sibeke straight
ithenda value ayithola ngokubribe siyazi dala siphila la siyazi ithenda ngokubribe uyayithola.
Well, allegations there, Bredan, of the fact that they're saying that the Ministry of Transport should be speaking, mainly because they are subsidizing Putco, but they're saying if they're not speaking, it's because that they also in cahoots with the Putco. They're saying basically that there are tenders that needs to be investigated at this point, because they're saying that if there wasn't a case that the Transport Ministry was not involved, then they would be already speaking. They're saying that there's a lot more that has happened. If they're saying, of course, that Bredan, that there was a time when they had an overtime and they were paid for overtime, but that was taken away. And this, of course, was the amount of money that was coming in that would assist them, and they wouldn't feel that the money that they're earning is not enough. But now they're feeling like the money that they're earning is not enough, and this is why that they wanted that 6%. But of course, Bredan, it still continues here on the ground. They're burning those tires. 4 o'clock is the time for everybody to leave, but at this point it doesn't look like they are going to allow them to leave. The police, we can see, still remain on the phone, just making those calls. We will see what will the public police order also be doing.
Thank you very much, Nqobile. We'll leave it there for now. We'll come back to you as this is developing towards 4 o'clock, because as we've heard from that one gentleman you spoke to, they don't want to allow anybody to leave the premises there of Putco in New Canada in Soweto without addressing them. Just take care. We will come back to you. Meanwhile, we know that the bus company Putco says it's awaiting the court's decision on whether or not to pay these striking drivers. In the meantime, the company says it will proceed with its intention to dismiss the workers involved in the illegal strike.
That matter is subject to court proceedings. Labour Court is actually reviewing that particular decision, whether Putco should pay or not. So at this stage, we cannot move on that until there's a pronouncement from the court. But yesterday we did issue the notice to dismiss, with an intention to dismiss the workers who are on strike, approximately 1,000 of them. And we are expecting them that today they'll be making representations to say that why is it that the company should not dismiss them after embarking on an illegal strike.
Speaking on behalf of Putco. On the ground is my colleague Nqobile Madlala there at Putco's depot's offices in New Canada in Soweto, keeping tabs of that developing situation. We'll bring you back any development from there.